Hello, my name is Jasmine Lee, and I am not your mama's astrologer. Welcome to the week. Gosh, there is so many little astrological things going on in the sky this week. Too many to name, really. But what I will say, when there's all kinds, it's like shooting star magic in the sky, is a time for breakthroughs. It is a time for aha moments. It is a time to re-engage in the very notion of magic itself. Because maybe all of this astrology that's been hard, maybe everything that's been pushing us, maybe all of the places where we felt is wrong is aligning to get right. But nothing right ever came easy. And so we've got a lot of astrology angling us, shifting us, moving us. Uranus is a big player of this week, asking us to change, asking us to really take a deep dive into our habit structure, into the things that we are telling ourselves into every day, into the things that we are doing to ourselves and for ourselves every day, and taking stock of those daily life and ritual habits and saying, am I doing this right? Or, because truly there is no right and wrong, am I operating to my best and highest good right now? I will flat out call myself out and say, girl, I ain't. I have been stuck in a negative pattern loop, in a self-crisis of sorts, where I feel as though I am letting myself down every single day. And how is it even possible to allow the miracles to come in, to allow magic to be real, if I'm so focused on the toil and tumult of my own inner landscape that I can't even see the forest for the trees? That's the kind of week that it's been. It's a week where I'm ready to just set the whole thing on fire and say, well, forget it. Forget it. Forget whatever effort, forget whatever energy, forget whatever I am putting into something. I just want to put my hands up and say, done. No more. All done. But that's not really how life works. And horrible among all horribles. Guess what, guys? Guess what I just learned? When you're an adult, you don't get to just give up. You have to crash, you have to break down, you have to say you're gonna quit, but then you just have to get up, put on your big girl panties, strap your boots on, and go for another round and round and round. And the truth is that if we do not take accountability for the circles we run ourselves in, then we'll never make headway. We'll never make progress, because we are victimizing ourselves, because we are feeling sorry for ourselves. I have felt so sorry for myself this week, you guys. I think that it is so important to call myself out, because I want to change. I want to learn the lesson. I want to do the damn thing, and I want to do it well, and I want to learn the lessons, and I want to rise to a different place inside of myself that doesn't have to go so dark to get there. So cue this week. This week can be a magic maker, but the caveat to that, your homework, is you have to re-engage. You have to trust that the magic is real, that there is a gut instinct that is always driving us all the time, that there is a voice or a hummingbird that will literally come up and tap you on the head. That happened to me today, and say, get outside of yourself. Stop feeling so stuck, because the truth is you're stuck of your own volition. You are in your own mud. You made the mud, you cemented it around yourself, and you are stuck because of your mud. The only way to get out of your own muck, to get out of your own quicksand, is to lose a shoe or two. Doesn't matter what brand they are. You just have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to surrender and to let yourself maybe be a failure. Maybe feel that you're a failure when probably you're not. Probably not as bad off as you think. And the truth is that with this many astrological aspects in the sky, there's so much love for us here. There's so much opportunity to shift it this week, that if I don't, well, I have no one but me to blame. And the same goes for you. If you can't shift some stuff this week, then take a hard look at yourself. Take a hard look at the stuck patterns that you have yourself in and really ask yourself some important questions. Monday starts with the sun trining Saturn. It's asking us to look deeper at these hard lessons, and it'll be easier to do it because a trine is a good aspect. It's an easier aspect. It's easier to see the work because it's being highlighted by the sun. So what is your work right now? This is your week step-by-step guide. First Monday, name what is the work. What is it? What is the thing that you need to name inside of yourself to move that energy? Mercury is also making a positive aspect to Pluto. So our thoughts making a positive aspect to transformation. But we can't transform unless we're willing. So Monday, we're going to see the work. We're going to see the mental preparation to fix it, to move through the work. And then Tuesday, Mercury's still in retrograde. It's been in Sagittarius. It's going back into Scorpio. Back into that thought process of, okay, what's the deepest, darkest thing? What is it? What is the thing? I asked you last week, the thing that keeps you up at night, what is the thing that is actively taking up real estate inside of you? And now that we're back into Scorpio, it's a review of that. And now we're going to have Mercury. We're going to have a new moon in Scorpio on Wednesday. So we have the moon in Scorpio. We have the sun in Scorpio. Kids, it is a high velocity start to the week. It's intense. We're not intense. We're intense right now. And that's not like camping. Maybe it is if you really hate camping intense. I don't know. But it's intense. It is a lot. There is stuff that is becoming clear that you can no longer deny about yourself, about your thought processes, about what you're doing. Because that new moon in Scorpio is asking for us to start something fresh. But we can't start anything fresh if we're not being truthful. If we're not being honest, if we're not being righteously authentic with where we are at. Authenticity rules this week. Scorpio demands it. Our thoughts, Mercury, what is being highlighted, the sun, and how we are feeling the moon, it will all be in Scorpio on Wednesday. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to run away from your problems? Are you going to pretend like they're not there? Are you going to try to scooch them deeper under this here bed, that there rug? You can't. You can't anymore because the rug is full. It's full of your problems. And now is the solving time. There are times where we toil. There are times where we feel stuck. There are times where we feel absolutely broken. But then there are those times. And it usually is in this season, in this scorpionic season, where we are asked to start composting the parts of ourselves that we have overused, that we have overrun, that we have used to our disadvantage. There are parts of you that are not serving you anymore. And what are those parts? That's what this week is about. It's about composting, saying goodbye to limiting beliefs, to fears, to parts of yourself that you thought were always going to be dragging you down, to allow yourself to ascend a little bit. Not a lot. I'm not asking you to drink Red Bull and get wings for crying out loud. I'm just asking you to ascend a little. I'm just asking you to maybe say, gosh, I've been my own worst enemy lately because. Write that down. I have been my own worst enemy because. And then answer that question. How are you letting yourself down? How are you not showing up righteously and presently in this life? And listen, I'm righteous. I'm present. I'm here. Maybe you agree. Maybe you feel that too. And it still doesn't feel like it's working out well. That's because there is something so much deeper, so much more intrinsic than just an obvious pattern that we do. It's so much deeper than that, you guys. I have always not felt smart enough. I have always not felt good enough. I have always not felt like the prettiest one in the room, the smartest one in the room, the best one in the room. I've never felt that in my whole life. And now, because that has been my limiting belief my whole life, it's playing out. Live action in my life. And I can't escape it until I say, I love me. I'm fine. I have value. I am doing something here in this world. This Scorpio new moon wants to guide you in to who you really are. Not the limiting beliefs you tell yourself you are, not the things where people have hurt you and left you to believe that you are a certain broken version of yourself, because it's just not true. There are just periods where we forget ourselves a little bit, and methinks we've all forgotten ourselves a little bit. Methinks we are all in a place in our lives right now where things are at a bottom, and that's okay. And this Scorpio new moon almost is like putting a hand on our back and saying, yes, that's been true. Yes, there are things that have hurt you. Yes, there are ways in which you are those things. You aren't the prettiest, you aren't the smartest, but so what? How do you find your self-worth in each phase of your life, in each failure, in each hardship? How do you find yourself a little deeper? How do you move that needle? How do you climb that mountain a little farther? It's not going to be from self-doubt or not believing in yourself. And so this Scorpio new moon wants to get really real with us. And you can take advantage of that, and you can do that, and you can grow from that, or you can hide from it. And the truth is that starting another cycle hiding just isn't gonna work. It's just not right now, because we have such a big ask of us in this iteration, in this ever-changing landscape, in this land of hard. We are at the other end of that hard, and we only have a little bit more, a little ways to go. And to be able to embrace that is what's really important this week. There are so many aha moments, because all of this astrology that I just talked to you about is opposing, making an intense aspect to Uranus, the planet of big change. So we're seeing all of this impending change, whoa, and it's triggering us because we know it's here, because we know we can't run from it anymore, because we know we must face the abyss of change. We must move. We must grow. We must let go of some belief systems. And it's loud. This isn't quiet astrology. This astrology is being obnoxious in our face. All of this information, maybe new information this week that you never heard before, all of this new inspiration, and what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to go into a cave, or are you actively going to work with it? And then Thursday, we have this beautiful Mercury cazimi, this beautiful moment where Mercury is right in the sun. And all of the sudden, after this beautiful new moon, we have this beautiful insight that comes rushing to us, that tells us something, that gives us some clarity. It's a very clarifying astrology week. It's laying it out for us. You just have to pay attention. And most importantly, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to accept your role in your current circumstance. I'm sure I've said it loads of times, but this week is going to be so obvious. It's just going to be so unavoidable of what the work is. And then all you have to do is decide what you're going to do about that, what you're going to invite in instead of be afraid of pushing out. Because letting go of things is hard. But I can tell you, every time I let go of something, whether it be a belief system or a piece of clothing or something that I don't use anymore, I always feel new energy rush in, and some other new bauble finds me, or a new book, or a new beautiful article of clothing, or a new friend, or a new class, or a new wake-up method. I've been doing this weirdest of things. I've been going to sleep to French. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm doing it. My body just wants to listen to French when I'm going to bed, and so that's what I'm doing. Do I know why I'm doing it? I have no idea. Do I know what even brought it on? No clue. Right before I got this new job to teach 7th grade, I was taking these online classes in French just 'cause. I used to live there. I miss the language. I used to be fluent. I'm not at all anymore, and I miss it. And so I've been actively drawing it in, and now my comfort thing before I go to sleep is to listen to stories in French at night. Do I need to understand why I'm doing that? No. Do I need to trust that my body, that my soul is asking for that right now? Yeah. And so that's my invitation to you guys. With a Cazimi, all this clarity, with Saturn here, with Uranus asking us to change, with a new moon, it's all new, it's all intense, it's all clarifying, and it all wants you to just trust it. To just say, okay, I'm going to freaking listen to French when I'm going to bed at night. I don't know why, but I'm going to trust that that is doing something to my cells, to my insides, to my thought processes, and I'm going to walk that path. And then Friday, we get this little reward of the sun finally moving out of Scorpio, this intense energy, into Sagittarius, the philosopher, the learner, the explorer, the adventurer, the person who says, I am going to learn this lesson, and I don't need you to teach it to me. I'm going to teach it to me. Sagittarius always is the embodied learner. They have to learn it for themselves. You can't tell them, I've got a Sagittarius moon. You can't tell me that heartbreak hurts. I got to break my own heart so completely that I could taste heartbreak, that I could feel it in the very tips of my fingertips, because that is how I need to experience emotion, is through me first, not through anybody else. And in other ways, I'm incredibly empathetic. I feel energy in a really large scale. So it's how those two balance. And all of us truly are empaths in this world. It's all what radio tuning we are attuned to, that what we're listening to, what songs we're hearing of others that affect us. And we're all different that way. But Friday, that watery feeling getting moved into a fire sign will feel good. Sagittarius is also the optimist, so we will be able to see a little bit more lemonade from all of them lemons we've been hiding in our bras. So I'm hoping for at least a little bit of levity for that time. And then Saturday, Mercury is going to trine Saturn, just like the sun did at the beginning of the week. So it's almost like we're going to get these lessons presented to us on Monday, and then Saturday, we're going to be able to integrate them mentally. So I kind of love that for us. And then Sunday, the sun is going to sextile Pluto, like Mercury did on Monday. So the sun and Mercury are switching places. The sun got to trine Saturn, and now Mercury gets to trine Saturn. Mercury got to sextile Pluto at the beginning of the week, and now the sun gets to sextile Pluto. So it's this interesting changing of the guard, because last week it was Mercury and Mars having that interaction, going backwards and forwards. And now the sun is having that interaction with Mercury. And to me, it's just this in Waldorf education, we do a lot of cross brain exercises to get into both sides of ourselves. And so I really see this last couple weeks has been that astrologically, asking us to engage not just the side of our brain that's comfortable, but the other side that can teach us new things, that can help us write a different song, because we're mixing in new capabilities and in new energy. So in this way, that this week is a great opportunity week. It's an opportunity. And that's it. You get to choose if you take the opportunity or not. We all get to choose how we use a Mercury retrograde, how we use new moons, how we use a Cazimi, how we use all of this stuff is always up to us. And I'll tell you, I don't think that I have been using my astrology for good. I think that I have been in a very dark place of activating astrology in a harder way. I kind of like hard lessons. I don't know if I really do, but I think deep down I put myself through the harder lessons, because I want to find a world in which I can wake up and say, I did it. I did that work. I don't ever, really hard admission. When I was young, I didn't do the work. I didn't ever want to take the lead on group projects. I copied off my friend's French homework. I always took the side step so that I wouldn't be the center of attention, or so that I wouldn't be wrong. I never wanted to be wrong. I never wanted to make the wrong choice. I never wanted to be wrong, because to me, wrong somehow meant that I was less than, or that I had made mistakes, which of course we're all going to do that. And so my youth was spent accidentally making more mistakes, because I was so afraid of making said mistakes, and because I really sidestepped my life. And now I feel like the fates of karma have like gone way to the other side, and I've had to experience death and divorce and loss and pain and friendships crumbling at my fingertips and just immense amounts of uncomfortable spotlight type pain. And now I am teaching a 7th grade, which is the biggest spotlight I could ever explain to you ever, because they're watching you always. And I can't hide anymore. There's no more hiding. Hiding is done. And I think that my pattern is that I've been trying to get back to that hiding place, and I can't, because my life isn't set up for that anymore, because I wanted those changes. And so I activated those changes, and here I am, uncomfortable as hell, changing, being wrong all the time, stumbling on my words, not always feeling like the perfect version of myself, and being highlighted as an imperfect human. My nightmare. And this week, I want to use the astrology for good. I do. The card I just pulled, this will make you laugh. Truth be told. Just tell the truth. Tell your truth. Be honest with yourself. It's not easy for me to admit that stuff to you guys. It's not easy for me to say. When I was young, I was an underachiever, except when it came to things that really mattered to me. And I was afraid. I have lived with a lot of fear that people are going to leave me, that people aren't going to love me for who I am, that I'm never going to fit in, that I'm not going to get good grades back then, or that I'm not going to do well. And I think that fear caused all of those fears to come true, caused me to get left, caused, me to not be as successful scholastically as I know that I could have been when I was younger. And now I'm here. Truth be told, I'm telling my truth. I'm admitting, I'm fessing up, I'm coming clean, and I'm asking for those harder lessons so that I can bridge that gap, so that I can show up. And even if I'm wrong, and even if I don't do it right, I at least did it. Because energy moves when you do the damn thing. So do it. Wake up. Awake is the new sleep. Be here. Be present. And that doesn't mean overdo, because ew, I hate the glorification of busy. It means be present. It means whatever your day demands, be in this day. This astrology this week is a day-by-day astrology. Something new and big is happening every day this week. And if you're honest, if you embody that truth be told card, you're going to get some nuggets about yourself, about how you can shift that fear-based reality, that part of yourself that's keeping yourself, in air quotes, safe, and allowing yourself more adventure, and allowing yourself more clarity, and allowing yourself to be off the hook a little bit, to say that you were wrong, to do it wrong, but just do it. But just be present and just live here with me this week. That was a lot of truth. Maybe regrets will ensue this night as I'm trying to go to sleep. But listen, we don't get anywhere if we're not telling the truth. We don't get anywhere with ourselves if we aren't willing to face ourselves and the dirty sides and the dark sides and the ways that we don't show up. Because I was a not shower upper when I was younger. And I don't want to be that way anymore. I want to be here. I do. I'm so passionate. I'm so here. I just want to do it better. Thank you so much for listening. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, tell me how you're doing. I love an ongoing dialogue about all of the things that we learn all week. Tell me how your week goes. And if you go onto my podcast on iTunes at Not Your Mama's Astrologer Podcast and you leave me a review, screenshot that review and DM me on Insta at Jasmine Lee Astrology. I will send you a tarot story that will maybe help you see where you've been playing hide and seek with yourself a little bit. Thanks so much, and I will talk next week.